baby, it's time to ride the funk train. And before we get Bob DeCrescenzo out here, John, I don't want him to
He's
hear
here.
this. What?
He's
Oh,
here.
what a wonderful person. I can't believe it. We have the crown prince of Atari 7800 homebrews. I got to tell you, John, I'm excited. This is going to be like a zero. The quality of tonight's show is going to be
huge.
encroaching upon a zero-page homebrew quality. I almost stole a couple neighbors' cats so they could run around and knock over the crap in the background. I almost started saying sorry and a just so we could sound Canadian. You're almost Canadian. You're up there in Toledo.
Yeah,
but anyway,
we're close.
Enough of me. This is your fourth show today or whatnot you've been recording?
Yeah, we've been doing some stuff. I was talking to the guys at JD Video Game Productions. Awesome crew they got over there. So that was fun. We had our video come out with one Mr. Uncle Flip of Obsidian and Limitless Contraption. That turned out really good. I was happy to sit and talk with him. So yeah, it's been a busy day.
Well, I'm proud of you.
But I think we saved the best for last, Vinny, because we have the GOAT. We have the man.
We have a goat? What
we have a goat. Yeah. We have Robert DeCrescenzo. We got Pac-Man Plus with us. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm fine. I don't know about Vinny. I think he's on a hangover. I heard you missed a birthday party with two.
I missed two hot twins. I could have been at their birthday party tonight, but I decided to hang out with you nerds. Now the twins are about 280 pounds each, and they're named Cody and Nick, but they're still hot because they have type 2 diabetes or something. I'm not sure, but
oh man,
I still love them. That you can see those guys in the movies that we create at Big and Funky Productions because you gotta love overweight twins. So I got to just say. I love more than anything else, except maybe 2 or 3 things that are R-rated, waking up and seeing a bunch of surprises from Atari pop up on the email or on the internet. And again, 5, everybody was kind of scratching their head saying, where are some more of these Atari 7800 plus games? And we've got 5, if you include Avalanche, coming down the pike. And 2 of them are Bob's games. I thought Tiger-Heli might have been one because he told me a few months ago he was working on something special for Atari, but it's fail-safe, which I gotta say, if you go to my website, Atari7800forever.com, that score, I didn't give it a great score, but it's one of my favorite games in the system. And then Super Circus Atari Age, I've always wondered why they haven't related that.
What? Benny, you're using the wrong names. It's no longer fail-safe in Super Circus Atari Age.
I'm old school, man. I'm old school in this homebrew scene. Yeah, CounterMeasure 2. I thought CounterMeasure 2 was going to be a new CounterMeasure. And then I was like, oh my God, I bet Bob, but it's just fail-safe, which they should have done because it's a good game and they need to get that out and see everybody. In Super Circus Atari Age, or Atari now, with the missing age. I saw the screenshot where they didn't even center the word Atari, Bob, but congratulations. How do you feel now that because we talked in 2020 and we did a long interview when I kicked off my website, and I appreciate you for doing that. But how do you feel? Because I know you said something back then about now you were a part of Atari canon, just like Nolan Bushnell, just like all the good ones, David Crane and all them people. You're part of that lineage. How does that feel?
Thank you. It feels wonderful. I would not put myself with those people. Those are way up here. It feels wonderful. It was something I had wanted for a long time to hopefully happen to one of them. So I've been very lucky.
Well, let me put it in perspective, and I know John's going to back me up on this. Now, Nolan Bushnell, he's the guy that started it all. You can't really knock him off Geezer Mountain. He can't. He's the king of the hill. But as far as everybody else is concerned, you pretty much have been Atari for 17 years, give or take. There's other people that have contributed, but the lifeblood, especially for the Pro System, I guess I should clarify, for the Pro System, you definitely have been the lifeblood of the system. You've been the lifeblood of my website. I mean, I was reviewing, I'm still not caught up reviewing your games. I've been doing it for 20 years. And there's an argument to be said that you're one of the most important entities in Atari history, and you come from a homebrew hobby programmer, do this for fun on the side, but your quality of work, the consistency, and the amount of work has made you a household name in the retro gaming community. So I know everybody. You spend a lot of time. You're very humble, and people compliment you all the time, and they should. But I know it probably makes you uncomfortable. But I just want to say thank you again, because you've made the system fun. And there's other people out there, of course, that have helped you with your games, and other people have made good games alongside of you. But it's amazing to see Bob here with a couple of dorks like me and John.
Yeah.
Wow, that's one of the kindest things. Thank you. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. I like making him stumble. He's just like that. Did you ever see the Vulture and the Bugs Bunny cartoons where he's just like no. I just like making him do that.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Now, talk about what do you want to go with this, John? Because I mean, two of his games, we all know those games, but do you want to talk about? You want to ask Bob some questions about those particular games starting off?
Yeah, I thought we would go through kind of talk a little bit about each title. And there's no better place to start than with the games that Bob has created for us and has already put out there. I guess we could start with Super Circus Atari. Seems like a good one to start, at least for me. So this game, have you done any alterations to these games? Is there gameplay differences, presentation differences,
difficulty switches?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So just basically the menu. Oh, excuse me. I've had to make more. I can't rely too much on the difficulty switches. So there's more, especially in CounterMeasure 2, is more screen oriented with the options.
Gotcha.
As far as Super Circus Atari, it's just basically the name, and that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. It's just basically just the name.
Did you have to do anything to calibrate for the new paddles, or is it pretty much the same as it used to be?
No, it's the same as it used to be.
Okay. So when you're saying on Failsafe, aka CounterMeasure 2, look at this game. This game is insanely hard, Bob. What in the world?
Excellent, though.
You just look how wide it is. Look how fast it is. This is like, I feel like I have PTSD trying to beat this game. But on CounterMeasure 2, I know the difficulty switches selected the number of players. Is that correct?
It was the time you had to guess the code and what was the other one? The number of lives.
Number of lives.
Yeah.
Okay, and you put that on the screen now?
Yeah.
Is there no, and I'm ignorant of this because I haven't got a 7800 plus yet, and I will. I'm just waiting for them to go and sell for $22. They keep going down in price, which is pretty good. But are there difficulty switches on the 7800 plus?
Yeah.
Okay, and you just wanted to take that off of there?
I was asked to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense because people don't want to get up off the couch anymore. They got the wireless CX78. They want to turn it on, sit down, and just, couch compatibility, I guess, is what they call it for a lot of these games. So I guess it makes sense to an extent. But, I mean, I like playing with the switches on the consoles myself. But
You sound dirty. I love, this is a great game here. I remember when I was a kid, Bob, you would get these fold outs and you would sit there, and I owned a 7800 and nothing else. And there would be games I was like, man, I wish that was on the 7800 and CounterMeasure was one of those games. I was like, man, I wish we had one of those. It was so cool when you brought that over.
Cool. I actually loved CounterMeasure on the 5200. So that was one of the main reasons of me doing that, because I started to do a straight port, and I said, I'm not going to do a straight port. I want to put more stuff in this. So that's how that happened. So I made it, of course, horizontal scrolling instead of vertical scrolling like the original.
Right.
And that took advantage of the aspect ratio. I would assume you got a better view of the better lay of the land looking at it like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I
And
was
so,
playing. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was playing with the idea of being able to scroll backwards too, not just one direction. And I said I had that like that for a while. I'm going, why? There's nothing. Once you pass it, there's nothing back there anymore. So
It could be all of your X's. Your exes could be back there and they'd be like, let me talk to you, Bob, about what your problem is. And you could be like, it could be
This
turned
is
into a
why-
horror game.
Where do you want to start?
Now, I want to ask specifically for
Good word.
yeah, thank you. It's the word of the day. Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa. So for Super Circus Atari, obviously in the Atari Age version, if you cleared all the rows, you had the Atari Age symbol come out.
Good
Has
question.
that been replaced with like the Fuji or is it
it's
still in there?
It's still in there.
Okay, awesome. Hey, it's a great element. I believe too at certain points you have the was it the bat from Adventure? I can't remember. You had a couple of Easter eggs in there. So
there's two Easter eggs. There's the bat from Adventure and the chalice from Adventure.
Yep, and the chalice. That's right.
Are they bosses kind of that you have to defeat like the Atari Age logo?
No, they're just random. There's certain setup where they come out. So it's kind of certain things have to happen in order for them to come out, and they're like 1,000 points each, if I remember correctly.
And they just come out, and you just got to hit it with one of the little knuckleheads you're bouncing around. Okay, you could tell I'm so terrible at that game. I've never made it to see that. I would love to.
Wow.
Yeah,
well,
I'm terrible at that game. Is it easier for you, John, with the joystick or the paddles?
Oh, the paddle, absolutely. I mean, I can get pretty far with the joystick too, but yeah, you got to have the paddles.
Maybe that's my problem.
Oh, you don't use the paddles?
I didn't know. When I first reviewed the game, and this is probably why I gave it a 3.5 out of 5, which is much higher than what Snow White is getting right now in the reviews. But I was using the joystick instead of the paddle, so I may need to go back and revisit that. Actually, it's a good idea, I think.
Yeah, the paddles have to be in the second part, just like Crazy Bricks. The paddles have to be in the second part. The reason why I did that is because of the high score cartridge. The high score cartridge, you have to use the joystick because it crashes if you try to use the paddles. So I left the ability to use the joystick in the left paddle. I mean, in the left port, and to keep the paddles in the right port, so you don't have to change anything. Switch around and all of this stuff. So
now you're saying high score. You're saying high score card. Do you mean the Audio Vox thing?
No. I meant the original high score card that Kurt had put out.
And that's compatible. Those games are compatible with that.
Oh yeah,
I am scared as hell to use this. the high score cart feels so flimsy in a way, and it's like to change the battery is like trying to perform a heart surgery. It scares me to death.
I had sent mine back to Kurt to change the battery into the new NVRAM. I never got it back.
Oh,
really?
So sorry, Kurt.
Oh man.
But I use the Cuddle Card 2 emulates the high score card. But you know what? I'm sitting here going, I never tried it in the 7800 plus. I have. Know if the high score card works in the 7800 plus.
Oh no, not this. I thought you meant the game. No, I haven't tried the high score card. No,
that's what I'm sitting going.
I doubt. I don't think that would work, and not the way the 7800 plus works. I don't think that. I don't see how. I don't know.
It depends if it looks through the whole 64K. If it because it's in the high score card's in 3 hex 3000. I think if I'm not mistaken. It depends on how much it tries to dump. I don't know if it does dump the whole thing in May.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'll have to get with Vinny. We'll combine his high score cart with my my 7800 plus, and we'll figure this out.
Hey, you put your peanut butter in my chocolate.
You got your chocolate, my peanut butter. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I just want to say this too. Before we get any further past these games, real cool, man. What you did with Berserk and Frenzy, where you could have the code where you could play them both. Because I thought, I was like, hey, Atari is trying to get as much money as they can out of this thing, and they split Bob's Frenzy into two.
Did
And for
Atari know that you did
actually
that?
was a boo-boo on my part.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, that was a boo-boo. I have two separate routines, one for the select button and the other one for the joystick routines. And I only use the joystick routines to select the game. So I was testing and I said, oh, great, it works. And then somebody brought up that they were playing the pause button, or they were playing buttons, and they got the other game and went, oh no. So I forgot to change the routine that had the select button. So it's actually select button that does it.
Oh wow.
If you hit the select, it doesn't show it on the screen, but if you hit it and it doesn't change, then you know you got the other game. I
thought you were being like an everyman, like a Robin Hood.
One
like
of us.
I thought
steal from Atari.
I thought you would. Well, it's a great Easter egg, and collectors will buy them both. And to be honest with you, you can buy them both, and it's roughly the same price as I was going to say buying the one from the Atari age. So
true collectors have all three. They have the Atari age, the Berserk, and the Frenzy.
The fixed one,
yeah. Well, very cool. So basically, for those games, you just kind of blocked out access to one title or the other, and then released them. And okay, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you got the game done. Probably the easiest way to go about it. So,
it was more time.
Right. So, when Atari found out about that, did you get a phone call or a slap on the wrist, or or do they not know?
I don't know they never told me. I just fixed it and sent it to Ben really quick. I'm like, I'm so sorry, man. I screwed up.
Gotcha.
So I fixed it and sent it to him. I said, this one will not have the other one in it.
So moving forward, that won't work if you order today. Oh, okay. So there's some rare, the version you got, Benny, is oh
my God. I'm gonna sleep with it under my pillow tonight, both of them.
Well, very cool stuff. And for those that don't know, getting back to the newly announced games, so CounterMeasure 2, it still has the codes you input, just like CounterMeasure 1, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, it took me a second. Sorry. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's you mean when you try to finish the game, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just for people who maybe haven't played it or are considering on getting it, it's basically very comparable upgrade basically to CounterMeasure on the 5200. So, and I've seen some people asking about it in the chat, so I just wanted to clarify that aspect. But very cool, like Vinny said earlier in the video, you got all these games are now official Atari games, and they're your babies, and we're all so happy for you to have these released and done properly. So congratulations.
I don't know if you heard, I think you may have seen me say this in a podcast or something, but it really tickled me pink that with the relaunch of the 7800, how you were honored. There was a pack-in game of Bentley Bear, which is one of the best games for the system.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. I didn't know. I didn't know until they put it out. They had bought it from me, and when I saw the actual box artwork, I said, "Whoa, that's the pack game." They didn't tell me beforehand.
Oh, okay.
It's a no-brainer. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's a great game, and again, you deserve that. I kind of wish Kurt Vendel was around to see that as well. I wish they could have done something to him, because he along with you and other people, he helped keep the system alive and relevant throughout the 2000s. So yeah, when I saw Tiger-Heli, I thought, Bob made this game too, and it wasn't you.
No, it wasn't.
It was who made
say this, but it was. Forgive me, Tari, if I'm not allowed to say this, but it was given to me first. I started it. I had trouble with the vertical scrolling, and I had trouble with the vertical scrolling and the amount of items that were on the screen. It was starting to stutter, and I said, you know what? I'm afraid it has to be done at a certain time. So I said, guys, you're gonna have to get somebody else to do this one. I'll start on, and then I started on Bounty Bob. So that's more, even though it's out of my wheelhouse, it's something I know I can do. And Tiger-Heli was too difficult for me.
I That's so weird. I was thinking of questions to ask you today. And one was, that's so weird that you said that it brought up this way. I was like, you haven't done a shoot 'em up that's a vertical forced scrolling shoot 'em up. You did a horizontal one with Scramble, which was excellent, one of the best games in the system. And I was going to say, are you going to do one of these? And you said it's just one of these things that's not in your wheelhouse. That's very interesting, because I noticed, I was like, he's never done one of those before. So yeah, interesting.
The funny thing is, like, I know how to do it now. So, of course,
hey, you live and learn,
right?
You live and learn, and I got to tell you, I played Tiger-Heli today, and
the arcade or the 7800
arcade and the 50 or the NES version. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
They're both pretty good. They're both, pretty rudimentary in a way, but they're both pretty good. And I'm excited. I saw John Hancock say the 7800 one at this stage. They're still tweaking it, but he thinks it's better than the NES version. So
yeah, I heard that too. It looks great. It's probably it's great to have these new titles come out along with the re-releases, because it feels like there's something here for everybody. You got the brand new titles that they put out, Tiger-Heli, Bounty Bob Strikes Back, which is for all of us that have been playing the heck out of everything. And then you have the re-releases of Bob stuff that, maybe the general public haven't played. Again, us diehards have, but the people browsing Amazon and that picked it up on a whim, they probably haven't heard of CounterMeasure 2 or Failsafe or Super Circus. So it's awesome to get those out there. And then you have Dark Chambers, which is it's a good choice, I think. I mean, I would have wished to have seen some different games before it, but you have that as well for people that I guess want the authentic, maybe the original experience, or a way to pick up one of these games that's maybe getting up there in price is what I always hope for. And Dark Chambers was climbing, I think.
Well, they're all climbing a little bit, and it's just a way for us to buy a game that we've owned for 30 years, buy another version of it just because it's got a different box.
Oh, the art looks awesome on that.
I think so too. It's much better.
I didn't think the original art was bad.
Yeah, this is much better. This new one.
Bob, did you think it was bad?
I'm trying to remember it.
It's not good.
It wasn't memorable.
The new art looks wonderful.
It does.
I will say they have improved every box and every cover art, except I think the Super Circus Atari Age with the multicolored box was real funky. The new art's good too, but that's a really special box to have on the shelf. It looks tutti fruity.
I like the art.
The old one.
Oh, the old one?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like, because it's all like red and yellow, and it's not a silver box.
Yeah, that's true. Go ahead.
The guy who did that artwork, the original Super Circus Atari Age, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, has passed on. So
see, Vinny, look.
Man, I'm just terrible with this. Let's talk about John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King now. And Juice WRLD for the kids.
There you go.
But so Tiger-Heli, I don't know if you can comment on this or not. And this is something that I've heard about this. So the guy that made Tiger-Heli, is he the same guy that made the Atari 7800 homebrew that can't be released because it's the same name of the year that Pearl Harbor was attacked, if you catch my drift? Was that the same fella?
1942.
Well, you're not supposed to say it out loud.
You can't say 1942. Okay.
I don't know. I heard that they wanted that there was a guy that made 1942. Who made 1942? I'm ignorant.
That was Playsoft, right?
Okay, and I heard it was inspired, or Tiger-Heli was inspired by that awesome 1942 that they obviously don't have the rights and they can't sell. So do you know anything about that, Bob? Do you know any programmer? Do you guys all hang out in a bar together and talk about
about your games?
Yeah.
I do not know, but I don't believe it's the same person.
Okay. I didn't think so, because the water looked different. At first I speculated that maybe it was like a somewhat of a port of that. It just kind of made sense to me. But after seeing like the water effects and stuff, I kind of started to veer away from that. But either way, 1942, that was an excellent homebrew that was made, incredibly well done.
There are so many good programs out there. I'm seeing all the stuff like the night games.
Oh yeah,
KNIGH, not night. But yeah,
I play them at night though.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing people out there. I'm in awe.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff. And again, it all started with the stuff that you were doing, Bob. And I understand you do it the hard way, right? You still do old what they call it, assembly programming.
Yes.
And these kids today, they do 7800 basic. You don't participate in that?
No, because then I have to undo what I know and then learn a new way. It's just, I just go on with what I've already known and learned.
Well, very, very cool. Yeah. We love having your games out here, especially the two that were announced now. And we hope to see more. Is there any possibility of more of your games coming?
Yeah, there are two more that they had obtained from me. That
Crazy Bricks.
Come out yet? Yep.
Crazy Bricks. What's the other, John? Can you guess the other?
I actually know it, but I'll let I'll let Bob have that.
I don't believe you know it. Hold on, Bob. Don't let him. I think John's just trying to front. What is it, John?
It is game.
What?
Huh?
Your gonorrhea is caught back up with your lungs.
No, do you want me to say it, Bob, or do you want to announce it, or can you announce it?
I don't think it matters. I mean, I think people know that the ones they got from me. I hope.
Okay.
So yeah, meteor showers. Yeah.
Meteor shower. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, I knew. I said it right.
I didn't know.
That's how you know. I know.
Well, I'm proud of you both. So, Crazy Bricks is now. When that comes out, have you done any tweaking to that?
Yeah. Some of the levels are different, slightly different. There were a handful of levels, like 2 or 3 of them, that people had a hard time with. I've reduced the difficulty of them.
I was talking to John
about
a month ago.
Yep.
And I said, I love Crazy Bricks. And he was talking about it. And I said, there's a couple of levels, though, that make me want to effing die. I hated them. But overall, I love the game. And I hope there's a couple. There's the one that some of them are good ideas. They just, for fun, they're not fun. But it's the one that's the big S that does this.
That's one of the ones I
did. Yay! I hate that one.
Yeah.
I have to go take a Valium before I play that level.
What was the other one? There were like maybe 2 or possibly 3 levels that I changed, made a little easier because they were too hard.
Was it the one with the 3 layers of bricks and the 2 walls in between? Would that be one of them?
There was actually, I think so.
Okay, that one is difficult.
There's another one that's got like layers like a birthday cake and it tapers. That one's a difficult one too. But the ones with the like the one what? What'd you say?
I left.
You left that one.
I think
that one. I think that one's fair. It's just difficult.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. There were 2 or 3 that made me want to die. And I think I told you about 5 years ago. There was one where I got a ball stuck in a cup near the roof and it would never come out. I sat there for like 2 hours and it just kept bouncing around. But I don't know if you. Yeah.
Wow. It's supposed to add it adds a very low value every once in a while. So it's supposed to slightly change. I'm surprised it got stuck in there. That's
Well, don't worry about it.
I've never had that happen. That's crazy.
Well, that's one of the end one. It's very hard to get to that level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you keep the difficulty the same? Because it's a pretty tough game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, difficulties except for the levels that I told you about. Yeah.
That's exciting, John. I'm excited about that release.
Oh yeah, that's going to be an incredible release. I love paddle games, and specifically the 2 that you've made, Bob. They're great game. I hope they do some sort of package too with the new paddles, and your 2 games just make a lot of sense.
Hey, cool.
John, quit talking about Bob's package real quick. Let's do this. So let's do this. This is fun. So I like ball and bat games too. I know Bob loves Arkanoid because we talked about that before in the interview. That was one of his main games. Besides Pac-Man, he loved Arkanoid.
Yeah.
So how would you rate Breakout, Super Breakout, Breakout Recharged, Breakout Beyond, Arkanoid, and Crazy Bricks? Which one would you say is the best of all those, John?
Oh, me?
Mhm.
So what was it again? Breakout, Super Breakout, Breakout Recharged, Arkanoid, and
Breakout Beyond, and Crazy Bricks.
Arkanoid would probably have to be the top, I would say.
Well, I didn't say Arkanoid because I kind of figured you
didn't
it's a
include
lot. It's
that
a
in
lot.
there?
No, it's a
Oh,
lot more
okay.
advanced than the others. But
Okay, so one more time. What are the choices?
Breakout,
Okay.
Super Breakout,
Okay.
Crazy Bricks, Breakout Beyond, Breakout Recharged.
Probably unironically, I'd probably put Crazy Bricks at the top. The new Breakout game, there's some things they did with that I'm not a fan of.
Like what?
You can kind of put spin on the ball. I just don't like those sort of things, especially how they did it, where if you're moving the paddle, it kind of puts spin on the ball.
I like that.
Because if you're going to meet it, like if you're having a hectic game and you're bouncing it back and forth real fast, you accidentally do that and it curves real weird. I just don't like that. So that one would probably be the bottom or towards the bottom for me. And then, yeah, Crazy Bricks would be up there. Super Breakout would be up there.
You don't like Breakout Recharged either, do you?
I don't think I haven't played it that much.
You did. I watched your high score. It's miserable on the VCS.
Right, because I haven't played it very much.
I mock it every time I
There you
get
go.
another level. I go look at yours, and your score is pathetic. Bob, out of those 5 or 6, not including Arkanoid, what's your favorite of those?
I haven't played the new ones, like Recharged and what was the other one? The new one?
Breakout Beyond just released
Breakout
for
Beyond,
the VCS.
So I would have to say probably Super Breakout.
He's so effing humble. You know, Crazy Bricks is better than Super Breakout.
Oh yeah, Crazy
Well,
Bricks.
I like the fact that you can choose which kind of you can have them come down, stuff like that. Which I wish I had done that. Have the brick levels come down, and it's just that's kind of cool. I like that. But,
Jeremiah says Arkanoid is not the best. I think Arkanoid is too manic for what I like to lay back and play the tennis style game, the Pong game myself. When you start having robots and laser beams and stuff like that, it gets a little annoying. So
yeah, it's definitely. Real quick before we move on, I just want to highlight we got a super chat in from T-Bone, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Always appreciated, never expected. Playing Bentley Bear Crystal Quest, great game, Bob. Absolutely.
He put boob.
What is it? Boob. Oh yeah, great game.
Great game, boob. Don't call Bob boob. What in the hell's wrong with you,
Yeah,
T-Bone?
keep
I don't
your $2.
Keep your $2. You're not going to insult Bob DeCrescenzo on my watch.
But no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I actually have Outback is a shed I just finished that I converted to a mini arcade. Arkanoid is in there.
So when John and I can come up and we can hang out?
Whatever you want.
Oh man, that would be awesome.
Actually, down, isn't it?
You actually, you moved to Florida, didn't you?
Yeah.
Everybody cool's moving down south. John.
Right? Yeah, that's the cool place to be. It's definitely not Ohio. I can tell you that. But yeah, absolutely. Before I see a lot of questions coming in for Bob. If you don't mind, we'll kind of do a Q&A towards the end of this, if you're up for it.
Yeah, we'll go back and because we're kind of talking jive here with
a little bit. Real quick, I just kind of want to wrap up on these games before we get too far away from everything. So I guess we can go finish highlighting. I think we talked about all of them except for Avalanche.
Yeah.
Which is I don't have anything up here for it, but no cool gameplay or anything. But I think that's a cool game to come out. What do you guys think?
I think it's like Kaboom, right? I mean, I have a version. I have the Pong table that Arcade 1-Up puts out, and just kind of as a piece. And I'll have a tournament around Christmas time when I have a party, and everybody comes around and tries to beat each other in Pong. And I win every year, so I get the prize, and everybody's mad about it. But anyway, I'm just kidding. I'll let other people win the prize. But Avalanche is okay. It's not the greatest game in the world, but I do think it's probably where Kaboom came from. And I don't know Champ's twist on it. They might have put some really good variations into it or something. They might have, gussied it up a little bit, as they say down south.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if John said he did that or not.
Champ does great stuff. I have yet to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have yet to play a game of theirs that I don't like. So I have complete faith in.
I'm kind of ignorant. What's some of their better titles? I'll check them out.
Did you play the 2600 Caverns of Mars? Because that was.
Oh
theirs.
yeah. I did.
Yeah,
That's a good game.
That they had a port of what was it? Zookeeper. Just all kinds of.
I love that
stuff.
game.
Robotron.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Robot something.
Yeah, robot. God, I can't remember.
How did that play on the 2600?
Actually, really good because he used background for the grunts, Yep, and then I was talking to when I was working on Defender, I got on like a 2-hour call with Owen Rubin. I'm sorry, Owen Rubin with Space Duel. Oh my God, with Eugene Jarvis. And I told him, I said, somebody I know got Robotron working on 2600. He's like, "You've got to be kidding me." I said, "No, he did a really good job." "Oh, I have to see this." So he wanted to go see it. So it was cool. He did play, from what I understand, he did play it at the last show when he was there.
Oh, wow.
Last PRGE, something like that.
Well, we have a friend of the show who's going into ECDHE, a French guy. And you throw him a baguette and a piece of cheese, and he'll sit there and talk to you for hours the secrets of how to program. And I think the cool thing is he's going through this. And we've talked about this before. John and I are not tech people. We just like playing the games. It seems like a lot of people in the industry are the smart guys who can actually program and resolder stuff. But he is one of these guys that he's actually going through a series talking about how you make a 2600 game and how awful it was and how you had to trick the game to have like two halves sometimes, and sometimes you would things would have to flicker because it was like you could only have so many things at once, so you just rapid fire did it. So yeah, it's really ingenious that he actually used the grunts, and I assume the grunts are like the football guys, right? The guys that you can't kill. Yeah, they're the part of the background. That's ingenious. That's why this hobby is so interesting, is how can you get the job done? And it just takes it's a lot of cool engineering.
Yeah, they have a ton of great games too. That
Tutankhamun Gorf.
Yep, Tutankhamun Arcade, Galagon, Gorf. Yeah, Robot War was the one we were thinking of, Bob. But yeah,
sorry.
No, you're fine. But yeah, a lot of really cool stuff. And ECDHE, I was going to say that when we were talking about some of the stuff. I know what you're talking about because of ECDHE, who's in the comments here. He's a cool guy, and we're actually going to do the 7800 episode next. So
cool. That
will be in the pipeline. But so of these 5 games that Atari has announced and will be getting, I believe it's in June or July of this year. Do you think there's any misses? Is there anything here that you're not thrilled with? I guess specifically I'll ask Vinny, and then we can get.
Well, Bob's not going to say anything hurtful. I will, because I'm drunk. But I think these are all cool, and they all make sense. I mean, I've been saying Super Circus Atari needs to be released. CounterMeasure was released, or excuse me, Failsafe was released for the VCS, which was awesome. And so them releasing it as a cart is awesome. I love that game. I know I didn't give it a great score on my website, but there was some reasons that made the score go down. But it's one of the games I pull out every once in a while and play because it's a challenge. It's fun. You put some music in the background, and it just it's a good game. Dark Chambers, whatever. I mean, it's not the greatest game of all time anyway, but it is an interesting game. Avalanche is cool, and then Tiger-Heli. We'll just see how that fares, it looks like it's going to be a good game, and anything that's good that's added, I'm for. So I would say zero misses on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. I think they're all excellent choices. Again, Countermeasure 2, great. Super Circus Atari, fantastic game. Absolutely love it. I'm glad more people get to play it. Tiger-Heli is probably the most exciting for me and you, just because that's the one we haven't played yet.
Right.
Dark Chambers, I think, was climbing up. It was around $70 or $80. They're getting up there for complete copies. So I'm glad they had a reprint. I was kind of hoping for something a little, what do you want to say, a little more expensive on eBay, something like maybe
You want Midnight Mutants or Alien Brigade?
Alien Brigade, Planet Smashers, even Motorcycle, just some of these games people can't afford, just so they can get to experience them. But yeah, the Dark Chambers is fine. It's probably way more accessible. Do you have any thoughts, Bob? Are you allowed to talk bad about anything, or do you agree that they're good?
No, I'm very happy with what they put out, especially anytime they put out one of John's games.
Yeah,
champions. I'm happy because he deserves it. He really does.
There's some more fellas that deserve a seat at the table, like Revan Tully. I think his games are interesting. Muddy Funster, MK Smith, Vlad Zaninga. I mean, they can get all these guys eventually.
Franco Dragon, yeah.
What's Revan Tully, right?
No, Franco Dragon did Roof Pooper. I'm just
bring out the Roof Pooper. I'd like to see the new artwork for that.
Right. I think that would be a fun one to put out on April Fool's Day or something. They got to do something with that.
They could do that.
Yeah, they can change the name to like High Scale Defecator or something. I don't know.
All right. Well, we don't. Did you? I was wanting to ask Bob a couple questions before we go into Q&A. Is that good, or did you have anything else you wanted to ask Bob?
No, go ahead. Absolutely.
Okay. And Bob, I love you. You know I love you. You could feel the love, I hope. And if you can't answer these questions, just tell me to shut up, and that's fine. So, is there a game that has not been released that you're working on for Atari at the moment?
Not at the moment.
Okay, that's very disappointing, and I'm mad now. So, I'm just kidding. Just joking. You were talking in the past about visiting Adventure 3. Is that still something you're thinking about?
Oh.
Not at the moment.
Okay. You also were talking about Resolve, the zombie game. Is that one in the back burner for a while?
Yeah, it's in the back burner. I'd like to come back to that one day. I want to get more ideas of where it's going to go. Part of the reason I left it is because I'm going, what am I going to do with this? I mean,
I've got some ideas. Real quick. So I was thinking, because you told me last time you're having bad ideas with it. I think it looks like, if nobody's aware, it kind of reminds me of Grand Theft Auto 1. It's a top-down, and it's a timed game, and you're supposed to last, like 30 days or something like that, and you're dusk to dawn. I thought, because I got influenced by this Atari game you may not be aware called Days of Doom, and it's a zombie game like your zombie game. Well, not like your zombie game, but it is a zombie game. And I thought it would be cool to have every day to have a different, again, I don't know how hard this would be, but like a different, the goal of the day is to like rescue somebody. You don't know where they are. Or the goal of the day is to find food for your group, or the goal of the day is to kill 100 zombies or whatever, or the goal of the day is to go purify some water or something like that. So every day it's not just the same, it's still the same parameters of the game, but you have like a different mission each day when you wake up, which would be something like you would do anyway, I guess, in a zombie apocalypse.
I was writing this down as you were saying that, so just so you know.
Oh, cool.
That's cool. Yeah, they sound like good ideas.
Well, you could have like a rival gang involved. You could have like every fifth level, you could try to defend something from your base from rival humans or something. I don't know.
Benny said you can have those ideas for free. He just wants you to put Funkmaster V presents.
Make me the final boss. I want to be the final boss zombie with an disco ball helmet and a mink coat. They bit me and they turned me. But I think that game is a great idea. I enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
I think the system needs it. And again, this is all hobby and stuff. And I know you make a little money and stuff, but this is really just pure love hobby. But that's a game I think would be really cool. And Bob, you do great when you convert shit. And we haven't swore the whole time. That's how Bob's such a sweet guy. I haven't swore the whole time.
I know. I need him on here more.
Yeah. but your original games, I think, are your best games, man. I really do. I think, I think. Oh, and I have something else. I wanted to say one more thing, and then we'll get in the Q&A, I guess. Somebody, a Funketeer, has sent me a cartridge to review called Pac-Man Energy Drink Game. This flew under my radar.
Ooh.
And I actually talked to. Are you all right? The hemorrhoids acting up again?
Yeah,
okay. But talk about this game went under my radar. I don't know when you released it. It was about this Red Bull arcade game, but I don't know if John, have you played it? I think this may be Bob's best maze game besides maybe like.
I hope you ain't mad, Bob. I made this myself, so just because I thought it was really cool, so I wanted to put it on cartridge.
Oh, cool.
So, but yeah, it is. It's very cool. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You have a question?
Well, again, and it's me talking instead of Bob, and I know people get mad at me for that, but like I just get excited when I talk to him. But I mean, it's a game that if you haven't played it, Bob makes all his ROMs available freely because he's a sweet guy. But it's so different. It's based, and I'll let him talk about it. But to me, as a guy who's not a great Pac-Man game, I think it's fairly easier than a lot of the games, and I think it's more interesting because the mazes are so funky. What do you have to say about all that stuff, Bob?
For me, it's harder because of all the twists and turns in the maze, and they're not symmetrical anymore. Yeah. And even the monster pen, I had to make the monster pen a variable instead of hard coded because the monster pen is all over the place and depending on the maze level. But that came about because I happened to come across it online, and I saw it and I said, I wonder if I can get all the mazes for that. And somebody pointed me to the ROM for that, and I got all the and I think I have a different version of the ROM because Vinny, you pointed out that one of them didn't have tunnels on top and bottom, and mine did. So I was looking for it for a while, and I couldn't find that one. So I just said, all right, it takes 2 seconds to change it if it comes down to it. But
I think it's great.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. It's something I just wanted to do because it was a different take, a slightly different take on it, and I like that, So
it's Pac-Man Red Bull, and they created an arcade topper on top of a Red Bull refrigerator.
I want to find that. I want that.
Where are those? How much? I've looked afterward because I was like, that would be so cool. Now mine would be Diet Coke because energy drinks I feel like rot your gut out like you're drinking antifreeze or something. But I'm sure Diet Coke's not much better, but I at least like it. But anyway, it was a great game, and congratulations. I'm about to review that and put that on the website, and you'll get another solid score. You're getting spoiled with my scores, but you're getting another good one.
Thanks.
But all right, you want to do Q&A? I don't have anything else for Bob. I mean, Bob's time is precious and it's late.
Yeah, we can move forward with the Q&A, and again, if you have anything, we'll spend a few minutes on this. We're not gonna take up all of Bob's night. We'll just start at the bottom and work our way up. So let me make sure I get the first guy. I thought they started pouring in immediately, but I guess not. Oh, here we go. So Michael, question for Bob. Are there any future games for Atari and Works? Well, I guess you already answered that with Vinny.
Yeah.
Not at the moment. Why am I answering? Shut up, Vinny. I'm going to go on mute.
Braylon, friend of the channel, asked, would Bob make something for the Intellivision? Have you ever considered branching out?
Well, I did kind of for the NES. I made a couple games for the NES. One of them was work for hire. One of them wasn't. I did Rainbow Bright, the Coleco Rainbow Bright game. I did that one. That was an NES emulator, basically.
Oh wow!
Then they released it on cartridge for a very short period of time. But anyway, and then Berserk and Frenzy for the NES too. But as far as the Intellivision, that's a very, very different system. I don't think so. I'm sorry.
Hey, you gotta set boundaries.
That's the meanest Bob will ever be.
Right, yeah. And he still said sorry. So ECDHE, great guy, friend of the channel. Question for Bob. Any plan to come up with exclusives for the 7800 instead of ports of known games?
Well, we were talking about Resolve a little while ago. I do want to get back to that at some point. I would like to get back to Adventure 3, but I may completely change it if Atari lets me. So there's a couple. Well, though Adventure 3 isn't really. It's not a port. So I guess yeah, but
Now you told me before that your version of Adventure 3 is going to be like the Intellivision's version of what is it, Cloudy Mountain?
Yeah, Cloudy Mountain. It was going to have elements of Cloudy Mountain in it, and I was going to bring elements of Adventure, kind of mix them up. But it was going to be like a 2-player game, but it could be one if the other player doesn't change.
Wow.
I'm not crazy about how it's coming out. How it was coming out the last time I touched it, which was about a year ago.
Oh,
wow. Or maybe 2 years ago. Anyway, so I'm not sure on that one, and I would have to talk to Atari about it. Anyway.
Just as a follow-up, do you prefer porting games or? Yeah. I was going to say
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say it seems like you have a lot more ports than originals. Is that just because there's already like a guideline set up, or is it funner?
Yeah, and I just like especially games that really didn't get too many or at all ports. Mooncrest hardly got any ports. Yep. Scramble only got, as far as I know, the Vectrex version.
Yeah.
And actually, Scramble's on 2600.
Astro Blaster, Astro Fighter.
Yeah.
Uniwar S.
Yeah, Uniwar.
Yep.
That's right.
Uniwar.
That Uniwar S or Uniwars, I like to call it Uniwars because
that's what I call it.
Easier.
Yeah.
But that's what caused Galaxian to happen, because it was on Galaxian hardware and the first level is so much like it.
Wow.
I kept going, let me set this up in case I want to do Galaxian in the future. So I ripped off the other levels. I said, and I couldn't stop. I said, let me do this more. Let me do this more. Then before I know it, I had Galaxian. So
well, we were very, very happy you did that. Moving forward, ECDHE had a follow-up. Well, no, speaking of assembly, another question. What dev tools is he using aside from CC65?
I'm not using that. I'm actually using DASM. I'm using Notepad Plus as an editor and DASM. I'm using, as far as graphics, I use PaintShop Pro, an old version of PaintShop Pro, because that's what I've been using that for years, and I'm used to it. Then I wrote a utility to convert the bitmap to data for the 7800 graphics. So that's what I do.
Wow. Braylon had another question. What game are you most proud of? What would you consider your least favorite game you ported?
That's a good question, Braylon.
Yeah, very good.
Proud of probably Bentley Bear. And thank you for that. And least favorite game you ported. I'm looking at them now. I'm trying to.
It's like choosing your favorite child, you know.
Your least favorite child. That's easy. The one in rehab has got 4 kids with 4 different dads.
I don't know. I'm happy with the ports that I did. Some of them required me, like Mooncrest especially, and Scramble. I got a lot of my information from the arcade ROMs, like the movements for Mooncrester. I got from the arcade ROMs. I know I'm going off on a tangent, and I apologize.
No, you're fine.
And the Scramble terrain I got from the ROM, the arcade ROM, because I just kept changing. I change random values in the arcade ROM until I see something change where I want it. Like I added a wall. I said, okay, that wasn't there before. I found the spot where they did the terrain. So anyway, that's how I was doing that. But as far as I don't have a least. Oh yeah, I do. Armor Attack 2.
Armor
Really?
Attack 2. Why?
Yeah, why?
I just wish I could have done things differently.
Okay.
It flickers in spots when there's a bunch of tanks in one row, and I do like the fact that I had 2 helicopters after you get to a certain level.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would have liked to have done things differently. That was one of my early ones. So,
I honestly, I ranked every homebrew game I could get my hands on, and that was one of them I came back to, and I was actually surprised how much I liked it, because not to talk bad about anything you did, but I remember initially not caring for it all that much, and then, upon looking back at it, it was really
I think
cool.
it aged better too.
Yeah.
You got to remember that was a really early game. That's one of the things you have to realize when Bob brings some of these, like this thing's like 1981, 1982. These are early games. I think the thing he was trying to emulate, I think the color. They used to have like a color gimmick. Yeah. And so the brown and the green kind of always threw me off. But if you go back and play it just to play it, it is a better game than I remembered. That's probably one of my least favorite Bob games too. So, but going back to it, it's actually better. It's not. I don't think he's ever made a bad game. I'm talking like he's not here.
Yeah, it's great. Real quick, interject with the super chat. Jolt 7800. Thank you so much. Always appreciated. Never expected. $1.99 in honor of Bob. I'll make sure you get that. It'll be $1.49 after YouTube takes their cut. I'll send you a check, Bob.
Well, just buy a game, Jolt. Don't worry about that.
There was a question here from S. Ramirez. Is Defender a possibility, or is there an issue with the IP?
There's probably an issue with the IP. I haven't even asked about it because I just assume, because it's changed. That's changed hands so many times too. I don't even know who owns it now. And I imagine Atari, if they wanted to do it, if Atari wanted to do it, then they would get the IP from whoever owns it now. But I'm not going to be doing many ports anymore because of IP things, and I don't want to. It's almost like when Atari Age took the games out, I got a clean slate, kind of.
Yeah.
So if I can get IP of something, I will absolutely do it. But
like Bounty Bob, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how they got the license from Tiger-Heli? Because that was a strange company.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about revisiting Space Duel with the tethering? Now that you've
And that's funny you should say that, because I was going to add on to the previous question. My least favorite port. I was going to say I wish I could redo Space Duel. I wouldn't add tethering. The funny thing about that, and I don't mean to, but I was talking to Owen Rubin. I ended up sending him a cartridge when he was done about that, and he said he had the printout somewhere of the code for the tethering. I said, if you could find that, that would be awesome. And I think he ended up that he couldn't find it, or he never.
Oh man!
Yeah, we never got back. That would have been very helpful. But I kind of think I know how to do it now. So if it's out there already, so it's not something I'm probably going to revisit anymore.
Gotcha.
Have you ever played Vector Sector on the Atari 50th anniversary celebration? It was a Digital Eclipse made this Vector homage that basically included Gravatar, Asteroids, Lunar Lander, Battlezone, Tempest, Space Duel. And one of the things about it that's cool is a 2-player version could tether. I always thought, and it makes it just wild to do Lunar Lander tethered and to go through Tempest tethered. And I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Sounds like difficulty added on to difficult.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. Let's hammer out a few more of these real quick, if you don't mind, Bob. If you want to stop, feel free to just yell stop, and we'll cut the feed.
Blink twice.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me on here. So,
you're the man. You should be on every week.
Right. Yeah, we should. Anyway, Bob, I'm wondering quickly, how different is it working and programming for the 7800 versus the NES?
It's a little different. Things get done Sprites get handled a different way. They both use the NES uses a kind of a clone of the 6802. I'm sorry, 6502. So it's as far as logic and stuff like that, it's the same. Matter of fact, I kind of aped the jumping mechanics from Super Mario Brothers when I did Bentley Bear. So
Oh wow.
yeah,
I'm-
and there's the graphics are stored differently. It's mostly the graphics and sound that's different. It's just because they're held differently.
Yes, you don't have display lists, huh?
Right. Right. You do keep all the graphics in one particular area, and then you tell it the area, and it handles vertical and horizontal. I like the way the NES handles the sprites better because you don't have to worry about splitting it up between zones
Oh,
like
yeah.
you do in 7800. You just tell it this X and Y quadrant, throw it there. So it's cool.
Absolutely. Question for Bob from T-Bone. What were some challenges in making Bentley Bear's Crystal Quest and other 70? How about specifically Bentley Bear's Crystal Quest? Was that a challenging game to make? Was there anything that sticks out?
Yeah, it was.
With Pac-Man Red, when he did the graphics,
Great job, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did a great job on that, and he gave me a screen of the forest level, and I'm looking at it going, it didn't have parallax scrolling at first until I saw that screen, and when he had the mock-up screen, I said I have to do parallax scrolling now, and I didn't know how to do it at the time, so I added it. That was one of the challenges, but I figured out how to do it, and I did it, and I'm glad because it looks so much better for that. But level design, I would say that was the biggest challenge for me.
And there's a ton of levels too, so I imagine
creative wise to make it fun and to escalate properly, or just writing the code.
That's to make it escalate properly.
The difficulty,
the difficulty ramp up. I purposely added when I introduced a new enemy. I always added it at the end of the previous level. Added one of them, so you knew you got familiar.
I love that. I love that.
And thank you. And the biggest thing was the Berthilda at the end of each level.
Oh yeah.
Each level at the end when you fight, each time you fight Berthilda, or Berthilda, I got it right.
Yeah, yeah.
She does something a little bit differently. So I tried to make it. I know there are ways that you can get around like killing it quite easily, but I'm not going to say. But anyway, but I tried to make it do something different. The warp level, the secret level is, I believe, no, that's not the one. It's just a small version of her at the end of that one. But I'm giving spoilers here. Sorry. But,
Bob, that thing's been out for 12 years, or what? I mean, it's
technically, it's only been out for
since Christmas, I guess, to a lot of people.
But yeah,
but the Bentley Bear was an amazing game, and I think he did a great job with that. I can't imagine how hard that is to put that in a 7800 cartridge. That was pretty amazing, man. And the music, the guy here in Knoxville, Tennessee, Bobby Clark, who did the music on that was next level too, man.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
He did the music for wow, I'm really drawing blanks today. He did the music for the NES game, the Rainbow Bright.
Oh, okay.
For that too.
I was gonna say he's done a lot of music on the 7800. I know for sure. So, yeah, very cool.
He's very good at what he does. Very good.
Obsidian Contraption. We actually put out a video today where I talked with him on Skyfrizz and some of his VCS endeavors. He asked Bob, "Are there any plans of putting Circus Atari out on the VCS 800?"
As one of the selectable games like they did with Failsafe, you mean? I don't know. That would be up to Atari.
Right. Yeah, I imagine. So now, does Atari now have the rights to releasing CounterMeasure to all your games? Like they can put them out wherever they want?
The ownership of it, yeah.
Wow, very cool. I don't think I'm not seeing anything else. We have a lot of comments. Defender was looking so good, says S. Ramirez. Yeah, we were all looking forward to Defender, but I'm more excited to see what else you come up with moving forward, especially. And Ripoff was a great game. That's one hardly anybody talks about, but Ripoff was fantastic.
I love the box art on that one.
Yeah.
Ripoff is a ridiculous game, man. I mean, there's something about it that's very addictive. And again, that's one of those rudimentary games that was way back in the day. Vector graphics. You did a good job emulating vector graphics on that one too, Bob. But that's a cool game too.
I'd like to make the sprites a little bit smaller on that one. They kind of big because when you look at the arcade game and then you look at this one, the sprites seem awfully big on the 700 version. So that's, and somebody once said, and I can't unsee this anymore. Somebody once said that you're defending the 8 or so Doritos in the middle of the screen. Yeah, that's all I see now when I see that.
That was me. That was my review. Yeah, I was basically saying Ripoff is just your hot Latina wife puts the Doritos in the backyard for the barbecue, and your neighbors are trying to steal them because there's no telling what in the hell is happening. That's the great thing about those old arcade games. None of it makes sense.
I guess go ahead, Vinny.
I don't know. I'm just talking craziness.
I guess the last question we have here, Jeremiah Thomas is going to end us off with my question about if Bob wants to port any TOA plan IP. Do you know what that means?
I don't.
That's a dynamite question to end on.
Hey,
what the hell does that mean?
I just saw it pop up.
Jeremiah, rephrase that question real quick.
Yeah, go ahead and rephrase it, and then we'll re-ask it. But Tiger-Heli is a TOA plan.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know. That's something I would have been asked to do.
What?
Sorry.
I would just ask, what other IPs does that company own?
Right.
Is there?
I mean, I think he's already answered that in the fact that he's not really looking to port too much of anything else. If
there's one game I really would love to port.
What is it?
Sinistar.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I like that. Do it.
Point. That's obviously I had actually brought that up to Atari, so I said if you ever get the IP for Sinistar, I want to do that one.
I would love to see that on the 7800. Absolutely.
That would be good.
Okay, I think we good questions, guys. Great stuff. Thanks in the chat and everybody that came in. Sinistar would be great. Very cool. So any last thoughts we want to express on the games or to Bob there, Benny? Anything you want to
I had a question and it left my mind, and as soon as this ends, and it's something I thought was going to be a great question, it's just going to be one of those things I'm going to be screaming at my wife for no reason. She's going to cry. I'm like, why did I forget? Why am I getting older?
In the middle of the night, you'll shoot up yelling it. Yeah.
I just want to express the gratitude to Bob and all the other programmers. I do think, I don't know, Bob was the first one that hit a bunch of home runs.
Yeah.
And I sometimes forget the other guys who not only helped him, but also the guys who are making great games now. And I always just kind of go, Bob. But Bob is the best. He's the king of this. And his games are great. And he does it old school. It's like when I make a website, I still make the old HTML code. I don't have. So, I mean, he's doing the stuff the hard way. So I really appreciate that too. But everybody's saying thank you. And that's, the 7800 is my favorite system. And back here, man, is I have 208 different titles. The system was released 58 games or 59 games, depending on what you go with. And it is true. It is quadrupled in size, and a lot of that is you, man. So thank you for that. You've breathed life into this system that needed a lot of attention. And I know you're big into underdogs. That's why you port things like Moon Cresta and stuff. And instead of trying to squeeze in like Halo or Fortnite into a 7800 game. But I, just thank you for all your work and keep going. And we're all, I'm real happy that Atari has acknowledged you. And I hope they start doing it for some other guys too, not to take not to take a slice out of your pie, because I think you deserve the highest praise of all, but there's some other guys too who have been working hard for years and years that deserve a little taste, as they say.
Absolutely. There's a bunch of people. And I wanted to just say one thing about what you said, the people about who have helped me, and one in particular who's, again, no longer here. We're losing people like crazy. Ken Siders. He helped me with this, especially Super Pac-Man. He helped me with a lot of the stuff on there. But and good use of the high score card, because he knew it like that. So I wish these people were still here.
Yeah, well, the sad thing about his games is that they'll probably Atari will probably never get those IPs. And his version of Q*bert and his version of Burger Time are unreal, and his version of Tetris, which was never released and finished. I play it because it doesn't escalate in difficulty, and I suck at Tetris, so I just sit there and play it for an hour because it just never. But I loved how it looks. I love the graphics of that game. He was so good, and there's something about his version of Q*bert that I like better than the original Q*bert, and I can't put my finger on it.
And I think we talked about that before. I don't. Personally, Q*bert's not my favorite game, but there's something about the one that he made on the 7800 that it's fantastic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wish Ken was here. So real quick, Bob, do you have any social media or anything you want to promote, anything before we wrap up here?
I'm really not on social media too much. I don't, but thank you.
If you want to talk to Bob, head over to Atari Age. Maybe he'll answer. That's about the only place people can, I think, know to reach you at, and we'll keep it that way. Vinny, you got anything coming up here soon?
Yeah, I'm going on the road this week to film one of my TV shows called Weird Roads. I get to go down to the crossroads where Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil, learn how to play guitar. So keep a lookout for that. There's a lot of interesting roads, and that can be seen on Asai TV. We're in the middle of making a movie called Showdown in Secret City, and check out the other movies. Camp Smokey, which is our latest one, just actually got released on Sling TV this week, which was awesome. We as an April Fool's joke, we said we're going to release our movies in romance, trashy romance.
I saw that.
And there was enough response where we're actually looking at making one of the books a trashy, disgusting, supernatural horror comedy romance novel.
Which one?
The Hike.
The Hike? Yeah.
And so you can't make one about the religious radio. You can't make a sex.
I was hoping
about the gospel station. And I'm going to be at New Words in La Follette, Tennessee. It's a nerd convention, but I'll be selling my movie bullcrap there. And that's going to be April 14th or April 19th in La Follette. So
very cool. Make sure.
Let me know if you're going to be in the Orlando area, because I'm only an hour and 15 minutes north of Orlando.
Well, we can be to Orlando tomorrow.
I have friends in Brooksville and Spring Hill, which is just across the peninsula there. I may come down and check out. I'd love to check out your arcade. I've always had I don't know. I've always wanted one of those too. The boy is a man. Your inner child gets the big man bucks. You can splurge a little bit. I'd love to have an Atari one that was just all my favorite Atari games. Because the thing about the Atari arcades that I like are they don't sometimes translate well, like things like Zybots and iRobot and they don't translate Vindicators and stuff because the controls were like Paperboy. It's hard to play Paperboy worth of crap. So I've always wanted some of those arcades, but they're getting pricey now.
Yeah, especially if that 1-Up arcade stuff came out, but nothing beats the original as long as you can get it working, I guess, or you have the money to get it working. But very cool. Again, thank you so much, Bob. Like Vinny said, we love your games. We appreciate you taking the time coming on and talking about some of your awesome new releases. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't already, you can pre-order CounterMeasure 2, all these games we talked about, Super Circus Atari on the Atari.com. They're also already up on Amazon. You can pre-order there as well. Pick up Bob's stuff. You can get his other stuff on there. Bounty, Bob Strikes Back. There's
yes, that's so.
Oh, did you think of the question?
Yes, it was about
Okay.
Bounty Bob. Somebody on one of my review of Bounty Bob Strikes Back, they said, "Well, this is a great version, but it's not as good as the 5200 version or the Commodore 64 version." And I cussed them out. I said, "You're a piece of crap for thinking that. You're just an because I mean, this version, your Bounty Bob version, if you've ever played that game, Bob's version is the best by far because the steerable. I don't know how anybody
jumping.
played it
Yeah.
without steerable jumping. It's a
Yep.
difficult game with it. But I was going to ask you this question. You said when you changed the hats, you had the idea to have random hat colors, and you thought of me. What did you mean by that?
I remember seeing you on one of your things with a purple. Do you have a purple hat?
Yeah, it's like a feather purple hat.
Yeah, and that's when I saw his hat. I said, "Oh, I gotta be able to make that change for Vivian." Yes, you were the inspiration for that one.
Oh man, I'm gonna wear the purple hat. He's wearing yellow, but I'll wear the purple hat from now on. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. That's cool.
Well, I'm glad we could.
I'd like to share something with you that I think it's okay that me talk about because I can't do it anymore. But I was looking into, you know how Nintendo has Super Nintendo World?
Yeah.
I was thinking of an Atari miniature golf themed, miniature golf Atari themed. Like each hole would be a different game theme. You know.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
One would be adventure with the castle. I mean, castle.
Yeah.
Miniature golf thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was actually kind of talking to them about it, but I realized the more I looked into it, the more I realized there was no way in heck I could bring up the money to back this. So I said, "Sorry guys, if you want to do it, I'll help, but I can't."
Oh, wow.
Wait a minute.
Do it.
Was this for the 7800 or what?
No, real miniature.
Yeah,
golf.
like a real life miniature.
Real life.
Yeah.
So you're okay. So you're talking about a miniature golf course.
Yeah.
Based on Atari IPs.
I hope I don't get in trouble saying this. Yes.
I mean, it was just an idea.
Yeah, it's just we're just a couple guys talking with a bunch of nerds in the chat who don't have their pants on. Well, I don't either.
Yeah.
But, so, wow. And you can't because it just takes too much money, or you're not being allowed to?
You would have to like build up the stuff, have the land.
It would be, from what I understand, it takes a couple million to put up a from ground to release, to not release, to opening, I should say, to do something like that. And I just can't. I don't have collateral. I don't have, I just can't.
It would be so cool to have, like you said, you could have the adventure themed one. You could have an asteroid with the asteroids all over.
I had all of them. Pong, asteroids, breakout.
And what is it every mini golf course?
A castle.
Well, an arcade.
Oh
yeah.
There'd be an arcade.
I had that idea too. I mean, it was all the Atari arcades. It was going to be.
You could have
their
themed snacks.
Like there.
You could have the colored popcorn like in the 90s and call it asteroid popcorn. And I'm on an asteroids kick. Everything will be asteroids, I guess. But
hey, that's Bob's favorite 7800 game.
Is asteroids?
That's what he told me before. That's the one he plays the most, he says, from the original library.
Too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, we should. Jeremiah has a good idea. We'll run a Kickstarter.
You can. Hey, and Bob, we should probably end the podcast, but I'll tell you this. Okay, so I run a taxi cab company and a transportation company in the South, and I'm near this place called Gatlinburg, which is the second. Pigeon Forge Gatlinburg is like the second largest tourist attraction on the East Coast besides Orlando. And there's like 15 million people here. So one of the contracts we have is I actually have a contract with people that make roller coasters, like mountain roller coasters and rides. And so I talk to them because I pick them up at the airport and take them into the mountains, and it takes about an hour. And so we run out of things to talk about. And we talk about how much these roller coasters and stuff are. And it's actually something like that. You can get investors. So that's something, if you're interested in, I can look into maybe getting somebody like, I don't know. We'll talk about it, but there are ways to not use your own money to kind of get something like that started. So I can do some research into that, because I think that's, and if Atari is a $54 million company, maybe they can have a little cheese, throw something like that down there in Florida. I mean, I don't know.
I was thinking of doing it around here too, because it's only, like I said, I'm only an hour from Orlando, so we get the Orlando.
There you go.
Well, and also, you know, maybe I can do something in Gatlinburg. I mean, 15 million visitors. I mean, the mini golf, there's so much mini golf, go-karts, and pancake houses here. You wouldn't believe it. But I don't think that's an idea we should throw away, because that's a pretty good one, bro.
I think Atari probably has. Yeah. So very cool stuff. Atari Network making dreams come true. But yeah, thank you so much. Again, if you want to check out Bob's stuff, it's available on Amazon, Atari.com. Still some stuff at the Atari Age store, right? I think you still have a few of your games up there. So, and then you can find him on the forums. He has a thread with all of his stuff available. Vinny already shilled his stuff. And of course, we have the videos on the Atari Network. You can like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. All right, guys, it's been a lot of fun. We will do another one of these real soon.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on. Thank you.
Yep.
You're the man. Awesome.
You're the man.